Teams are 31 and 34. First of three in that series is tonight. It's a late one, West Coast time, 9:40 here in Cleveland on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app. If you want to listen there, so 9:10 is when that pregame coverage will begin. Actor Treat Williams died. You know who Treat Williams is? This is another one of these guys that was good in everything he was in. He was on his motorcycle and he got T-boned by a car that didn't see him, and he died. He was 71. He was on a show called Everwood that a lot of people watched.
I don't know that I've ever seen this guy.
Really? God, he was, purely coincidentally.
You know what I have seen? The Deep End of the Ocean. Isn't that like her kid died or something?
Maybe.
It's my mom made me watch this when I was a little kid. I'm almost
a movie
positive.
About a kid dying your mom made you watch?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
The Deep End of the Ocean.
Oh, no, that's what it is. Her husband of 13 years
Beyond
dies.
the Ocean?
No. The Deep End of the Ocean with Michelle Pfeiffer. Her husband dies and she has to raise her kids by herself.
Oh, Deep End of the Ocean. There it is.
And
okay.
I think my mom felt like that after my dad left.
I see.
Who was like, hey, this is what it's like.
Honey, I look exactly like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Obviously.
And your dad looks exactly like Treat Williams.
I remember this.
And you look exactly like whoever the young female lead is.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. You look exactly like Whoopi Goldberg. No, Treat Williams. And I mean, he 71. He was on a motorcycle. I guess he was making a left, and a car didn't see him and hit him, cut him off. And if you've ever seen Treat Williams in a movie, he's just great in everything, no matter what he plays. He was the bad guy in the Phantom movie back in the day with Billy Zane. He was in this great, cheesy zombie buddy cop movie called Dead Heat with Joe Piscopo in the 80s. He played D.B. Cooper, but I purely coincidentally just rewatched this movie called Prince of the City, which is like a Serpico type of movie about a corrupt cop who blows the whistle. Same director, same guy did Serpico, did Prince of the City. But Treat Williams, just fantastic. He was uncredited in The Empire Strikes Back. But he was in Deep Rising, which is one of those great, in the mid-'80s, if you were alive then, every studio did their version of an underwater creature. So there was like Deep Star 6, and there was Leviathan, and Deep Rising with Treat Williams. But he was in Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. He did a ton of television, just great in everything. So that's a real bummer. Treat Williams, that was his middle name. I don't know if it was like his mom's maiden name or something, but a great name. You're trying to distinguish yourself as a young actor, and if your name is George Williams, or whatever his first name is, you ain't going to do it. But he first starred in the film version of Hair, which was the Broadway musical back in the day when everybody gets naked. But Prince of the City is a great early 80s cop movie. And you'd see him on TV shows. He was on Blue Bloods. He played Mike Ovitz in the Late Shift movie back in the early 90s about the Leno-Letterman late-night fights. And he did like Hallmark Christmas movies and Dolly Parton's Netflix show. He just was always working and always great. But hit on his motorcycle by a car that wasn't paying attention. He was Critical Bill in the movie Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, if you recall that movie. And, of course, The Deep End of the Ocean with Michelle Pfeiffer and Whoopi Goldberg. And then a little closer to home, because this was a guy I knew. Stan Savran has died. You might not know him, even though he was a son of Cleveland, Ohio. He was born and raised here. But he was the godfather of sports broadcasting in Pittsburgh. City of Pittsburgh is in mourning today because Stan Savran died. He was 76. He was diagnosed with lung cancer last year. He lost a leg to diabetes. And he died yesterday. When I first got to Pittsburgh, he was doing a lot of work for our sister station. I was on a station called The X. He was at WDVE and also did a lot of stuff for our AM Fox Sports station. But he couldn't be nicer. I was brand new in the market. Nobody knew who I was. I was trying to make a lot of noise to get some attention, and he was always right next door at DVE because they're just a monster at DVE. They run the Steelers and all kinds of stuff. And he was like the godfather of Pittsburgh sportscasting. He had the longest running sports talk show in the history of that city, called Sports Beat. And he couldn't have been nicer. At a time when nobody knew or cared who the hell I was, he was just a mensch. And was hoping to get past all this stuff. He had been making plans to go to Italy with some friends next year, but it was not going to happen. So Stan Savran, dead at 76, but again, grew up here. He was a bat boy for the Cleveland Indians before he went to Miami University in Ohio, and then started his broadcasting career in Pittsburgh and did television and radio there for decades, and was among the greats and just the nicest guy. So friends of mine who are still in local media in Pittsburgh are all crestfallen because he was just such a nice guy, and very, very sad. Hey, Rube Star.
Alan, that was quite a downer. I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but I have good news. This is my 100th call to your show.
So about a week ago, I guess Poundcake. I guess Rube Star uses a different name when he calls Rover. And so I have people going, hey, did you hear Rube Star called Rover and was crapping on you for getting him arrested or put in the hospital? And I don't know what they're talking about. And I told them so. I go, I do not know what you're talking about. And they were like, oh, Rube Star called Rover's show, and all of a sudden he's talking about how he's incarcerated or something because it's Alan Cox's fault and blah, blah, blah. And you know how they love my name on the morning show. So I'm sure they were pleased as punch with that. But maybe you can tell me what the hell they were talking about.
Oh, Alan, no hard feelings. I could clear the whole thing up, no problem. You just so happened to mention several times that I was more insane than normal when I had called you last year. Well, it just so happened that
Rube Star, you called me like 2 weeks ago. 1 minute you're complaining that you're not on the Bill Squire show, and the next minute you're calling Rover and saying that I'm like a dick or something. I don't understand.
No, not at all. You got the words all wrong.
So those people, I didn't hear it. Oh, those people were all lying to me then, is what you're saying.
Well, it's misinformation. That's a big problem today is misinformation. What I'm trying to tell you
First of all, why do you use two different names? Rube Star, excuse me, why do you use two different names?
Well, Alan, Spider is exclusive to Rover's Morning Glory. You see, I used to call as my real name Reuben, but my wife didn't like all the attention I got, so I used the name Spider.
Yeah, because you're a maniac. Really well, then when you started calling my show when I came to Cleveland, why didn't you call yourself Spider?
Well, it's exclusive to Rover's Morning Glory, and I don't talk about the same subject matter.
I don't understand.
Show,
like when they have a guy, Brother 80X, who calls their show. When he calls his show, he calls himself Tony, which I assume is his real name. I met the guy in the lobby or something here. I'm like, what's with the different names? Like, I'm Alan Cox no matter what show. I mean, I'm on this show, but I mean, if I were talking to somebody else, what's with the different names?
You know, it's a strange, mysterious world we live in. I am a mystery unto myself, Alan.
I know you like to think so, Rube Star. You seem pretty transparent to me.
Yes, thank you. So, speaking of transparency, I was wondering if I could get some backstage passes to Weezer this Friday. I need a new theme song, and it would really help me out if I could just talk to Rivers Cuomo. Happy birthday, by the way, Rivers. Write a new theme song for me.
Yeah, we'll put those tickets there for you at Will Call, but we're not going to tell you which name we're using.
That's right, and it better match your ID, too.
Yep, so just head on down there. Head on down there. They'll be set up for you. And have a good time.
Bill, don't get upset because I crushed you in the ratings on my last podcast.
What ratings?
There are no podcast ratings, Rube Star.
Viewer counts. I got 157 views on episode 3.
If we get 150, first of all, we're not rated on views.
But again, he's talking about
157
the Bill Squire
views.
show.
We're all out of work.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
He's talking about the Bill Squire show, but like,
hope.
but I can't.
A New Hope.
Ruben,
Send my fans your way.
Rube,
You're gonna see a bump,
dude,
baby.
shut
You're gonna
up.
see a
You got to let
maybe
people
20.
talk. I
Rube
hate him.
Star.
Hang up on him.
Wait. Rube Star.
I can't stand him.
Excuse me, Rube Star. You haven't
sir.
explained to me what the misinformation is with respect to you going on the morning show and call me a dick.
Nobody called you a dick, Mr. Cox.
What did you call me?
Right,
I thought I've always
I'll
been
tell
very.
you exactly-
I thought I'd always been very gregarious with you here, despite you offering nothing to the program. I thought that I've always been kind of, very
100
genial with you, Rube Star. I don't understand what the misinformation is.
Alan, you could go back and listen to it for yourself if you wanted
I
to. But
don't
listen,
care.
100 phone
I'm
calls of
asking
pure
you
gold,
directly.
baby. Let's let that wash under the bridge. They wanted to know how I ended up in jail, okay? This was last year, October 18th. I got to take you back in time, okay? We got to go on a little trip to this little year I like to call 2022. Marcel Hernandez gets a job on Saturday Night Live, and I'm
Rube Star. Hey, excuse me. I don't care. Here's what people are saying. He said you called him crazy, and that prompted his sister to call the police, leading him to be incarcerated. Is that what you said?
Yes. Well,
so
I
your
said
sister
insane.
didn't.
You
Your
said
si-
I sounded more insane
the inclination.
than normal.
Okay, so the inclination is what you're trying to tell the audience is that your sister had no clue you were a maniac before I mentioned it.
Yes, that is what I am implying here. Now, what name are we going to put these backstage passes under?
I'm not telling you. You just have to go down there and get them.
Yeah, you got to figure it out for yourself.
Okay, I will be
No,
there.
they're
Alan,
there.
It's all a big misunderstanding on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rube Star. I appreciate it, pal.
Can we do no more Rube Star for a
No,
while?
he's funny.
Is he? I don't think that's the kind of funny that I think is
Well, I mean,
funny.
I make him funny, but, it's
I think he's just annoying and
I
he's-
still didn't get any information about what was.
That's
So
what I'm
I said he's
saying.
more insane than usual, and somewhere his sister, who's listening to this show, thank you, Sister Rube Star, is going, boy, I better call the police and some medical authorities because Alan Cox said, Ruben, buddy, everyone around you knows the state of your affairs and nothing to do with me. Maybe when you call me, don't be such a maniac.
Yeah, I don't. I just because he
Me
doesn't
calling
make
you
any
crazy
sense, and
is
then,
not why the cops came to your house.
like
Guaranteed.
the weird rivalry that he thinks that I have with his YouTube videos that I'm not worried about at all. Like it's just like this is the Alan Cox Show. We're doing the Alan Cox Show here. The Bill Squire Show is not part of this. So like we don't need to do that. Like that's a fun thing. I'm not doing that to make money. It's just a fun thing. If you want to check it out, check it out. I don't care. This is where I do my thing. So he just is so aggravating. And because he also
Well, what is his show?
I don't even know. I don't want to know. He
I'm
also
curious.
goes on all my Facebook stuff. I think I blocked him because he just is saying all this like nonsensical stuff that nobody knows what's going on. I just find him incredibly annoying. So just a little Rube Star hiatus for say like 3 or 4 years. I think would be
Well, I can't promise
perfect.
that. I mean,
I think it would just be
I'll leave that up to
ideal.
if his sister felt compelled to get a welfare check on him, then I just wanted to make sure that he was okay. But when people were coming to me and going, "Hey, he called and said because you said that he," and obviously I'm being cheeky, right? I go, "Oh my God, you sound like a madman." Trust me, that's got nothing to do with why a family member is going to go, "This guy." They've grown up with you. They know what's going on. But I didn't understand that at all when people were talking to me. I go, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I wasn't hip to this double name thing, whatever it is. I don't know. But I've got to take a break. Thank you, Rube Star. 35192. Want to send me a text? AlanCoxShow.com if you want to watch, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS and everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. Rover's Morning Glory.
That was a good basketball game last night, Dieter. It was exciting down to the last minute.
Yeah, that was frantic in the fourth quarter. Back and forth, turnovers. Everybody, you can see how bad both teams are trying to win the game.
Yeah, I guess my guy Jimmy Butler, he just didn't show up.
Maybe he's not Michael Jordan's son because I think Jordan would have, showed up.
Disowned him?
Yeah.
Put him up for adoption?
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Rover's Morning Glory.
Weekdays on 100.7 WMMS and 24/7 on our free iHeartRadio app.
This is Super Bowl champion Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
9 people are recovering after gunfire erupted in downtown Denver overnight as NBA title celebrating fans emptied into the streets.